This is News 10 at 6.
One man is in the hospital tonight and another behind bars after an early morning stabbing. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Johnson. A 38-year-old Lansing man was stabbed in the stomach and the face during a fight with his ex. Lansing police say it happened on Grand River Avenue around 3 a.m. The victim is going to be okay. The suspect is identified as 35-year-old Jacob WILX. He was arraigned today on 2 charges, assault with the intent to murder and home invasion. He's awaiting trial at the Lansing jail. A bank robbery in Ann Arbor led to a 4-hour standoff at a Lansing Township hotel, and it might have become a hostage situation if it weren't for good teamwork by police. Tonight, the suspect is in custody, but only after at least 4 different police agencies and more than a dozen officers calmed the situation and captured their man. After allegedly robbing a bank on Wednesday, this man apparently fled to a Courtyard Marriott on Lake Lansing Road in Lansing Township. That's where police found the robber's car around 8 o'clock Saturday night.
And so our officers arrived and confirmed, in fact, the vehicle was here and that there's a patron of the hotel with that same name. So that got the whole ball rolling from there.
WILX first learned about the situation around 10 p.m. Saturday, but for an undisclosed security concern, police strongly requested the station hold the information until they had everything under control. 2 special response teams were called in and secured the hotel.
You hope you never have to use them, but in this case, everything went very smooth, and it was by the book and picture perfect.
Police evacuated about 40 hotel guests closest to the suspect's room. They were taken by school bus to a different hotel.
I feel badly for these guests who were displaced, but they're also safe.
During the entire 4-hour operation, no one was hurt. Police called the suspect on the phone and talked him into surrendering.
You think about the fact that we've got a hotel that's full of people here, and helping those people get into a safe location and still maintain the integrity of the scene. So it was a pretty tense situation for a while.
It was also very tense in the newsroom. That suspect was transported back to Ann Arbor, where he's expected to be arraigned on Monday. Many of the guests staying at the Marriott had participated in the Wish a Mile biking event on Saturday. Let's get a first check of the weather now from meteorologist Laura Harmon. Rain, rain, go away. This is definitely a different definition of Christmas in July. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Brian. It has been.
Starting today, the Hope Soccer Complex has new management. Mid-Michigan Sports Turf started its 5-year lease with Lansing, and as News 10's Lauren Fuldenberg found, they wasted no time to start fixing up the fields. Mid-Michigan Sports Turf is associated with the Chill Soccer Club, meaning Chill gets priority scheduling. Other local soccer clubs have told News 10 they don't want to work around Chill's schedule and are moving to other facilities. For the 10th year in a row, hundreds of people came out to run for Ellie's Place. 1,400 runners, including our own David Andrews, gathered at Jackson National Life in Okemos to run for a cause. This year, runners were able to dedicate a memory heart to a loved one who has passed away and place it along the memory mile. One organizer tells us why the run means so much.
Ellie's Race's children.
The event raised more than $24,000. Police have recovered the body of the best man thrown overboard in a pre-wedding boat crash in New York. A jet skier found the body in the Hudson River this morning. The victim was 30-year-old Mark Lennon, who was to be the best man in a wedding. That bride-to-be of that wedding was also killed after the speedboat crashed into a barge. The driver has been charged with first-degree vehicular manslaughter and second-degree vehicular assault. People gathered at a church in Indianapolis this morning to mourn the loss of 3 of its members, including the church's youth pastor. They were killed Saturday when the church's bus crashed while returning from Camp Kobiak, that's near Houghton Lake. The driver told investigators the brakes failed and he couldn't stop the bus.
The deceased due next month.
Investigators are still working to determine a cause for that crash. Syndicated radio and television personality David "Kid" Craddock died Saturday. Craddock was in New Orleans for a kids kid charity golf event when he passed away. No cause of the death has yet been given, although Craddock's show was played often on local stations here in Lansing on the radio. He was just 53 years old. Well, coming up, cold and rainy, not what you normally expect for the last weekend in July. Laura's back after the break with what you can expect as you head on off to work. Your 7-day forecast when we return.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast from the Weather Authority. Here's meteorologist Laura Hartman.
I've kind of lost track of how many days now we've had rain. Usually you're counting the number of days with sun in July, but the question on everyone's mind is when will we get the sun back?
Yeah, and a good question is when is summer going to come back too, because it feels like the fall, looks like fall outside. Well, we have that fall-like feeling for tonight, but we are seeing changes as early as tomorrow. But starting off, let's take a look at the pinpoint Doppler radar. It's not lasted, but it's nonetheless comfortable weather for us to look forward to next weekend.
It's like moving to the UP, but without, having to take all your stuff up there.
I know, hopefully next summer we'll stick around in those 80s a little longer, but you can't complain with the comfortable weather, even though it feels like it's almost school time. It's hard to believe we're talking about school already. We are accepting school supplies, and we'd love to get 1,000 backpacks full of school supplies for students this year. Please help us out. Operation Backpack going on. You can drop things off at the station and many other locations.
That's right. If you want to save money on gas, you can spend more on that donation of school supplies. There are locations everywhere. Congressman Mike Rogers' office, 2-minute-a-truck locations, the St. Vincent Catholic Charities and Capital National Bank branches in Lansing and Okemos. That's until August 23rd, so bring them on in. Coming up after the break, he would have been 150 today, and you can join the party how one town is honoring a world-renowned man from Michigan after the break. Dearborn celebrated the 150th anniversary of Henry Ford's birth Saturday. Crowds gathered at Ford's historic estate and checked out an auto display commemorating some of the significant cars of his era. He was born back in 1863 and built his first car in 1896. He founded Ford Motor Company just 7 years later.
We have got the estate open for tours. We have the grounds open for tours. We have an auto display that commemorates some of the significant cars in Henry's lifetime. We have fiddle music and dancing demonstrations along with food trucks and Tashmoo Beer Garden.
And the celebration continues this week. Tuesday, will be recognized as Henry Ford Day in Michigan to honor all that the innovator did. Well, the Tigers wrapped up their 3-game series with the Phillies, and there were some fireworks between Miggy and the umpire. Find out why after the break.
And the leaders of the teams are guys who have of high character.
That's going to do it for sports. And the Tigers, that whole Miguel Cabrera situation. I mean, he didn't. If you watched the game, he really didn't argue at all. The ump had a quick call today.
Unusual.
Sometimes
you don't
you win
usually see that.
Sometimes you lose. I mean, he's a superstar. Let him go.
All right. Thanks, Jamie. Laura's got a final check of the weather. We'll be right back.
Our warm-up begins tomorrow. We're back to the 70s, and we're drying off as well, so a good couple of dry days to start off the week.
And that's all the time we have for News 10 at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.